Good morning, Adventure Kids, and welcome back to another Sunday. We're here again, and I'm very excited for today. Today we are talking all about emotions. Now, that's just a fancy word for feelings, and you may be thinking, I still don't know what you're talking about. Well, I'm talking about when we're happy or when we're sad, when we're angry, when we're scared. All of those things, they are called emotions. So I am going to read a story for you that is called My Body Sends a Signal. My body sends me so many signals to tell me how I feel. Sometimes I sweat, my stomach rumbles, it's hard to breathe, my heart races like crazy. Sometimes I want to jump for joy and then I want to yell or cry. But why? One day, my mum said, I have a nice surprise for you, but you have to wait until lunch. What could it be? I just couldn't wait. I walked around the house, unable to concentrate on anything. I started playing with my blocks, but my brain just wouldn't stop thinking about the surprise long enough to build a tall castle. Then I got the train set out. But for some reason, the choo-choo just wasn't much fun. Next, I tried to use my toy tools to build the best race car ever. But my brain kept wondering about the surprise Mum had for me. My skin tingled. My heart beat faster and faster. I felt ants in my pants. I was so excited. Mum hugged me. Not long to wait, she said. And then I heard the doorbell. Mum looked at me smiling. Do you want to open the door? She asked. I rushed to the door and opened it wide. There, with their arms open wide to hug me, stood Grandma and Grandpa. Surprise! Said Grandma with a big smile. Who is this big man? My eyes shined. A wide smile lit up my face. I jumped for joy. I was so happy. My grandpa asked me to show him what I had learnt in school. I showed him the letters that I had learnt to write, the books I'd read with Mum, the pictures I had drawn, and then I handed him the dragon I had created in soft clay the other day. It's a present for you, Grandpa, I told him. Do you like it? Like it? He exclaimed. I love it. It's a piece of art. I stood up straight, my head held up, my eyes shined. I felt very proud of myself. The next day, the weather was perfect for a day out. We went to the zoo. The sun was shining bright and all the animals were enjoying the perfect day. First, we went to the tigers. We were standing behind a large glass wall so we could see them clearly. A big tiger was lying in front of us. He seemed to be asleep or maybe just relaxing in the sun. Two boys were standing beside me. They decided to annoy the tiger. They were screaming, knocking on the glass, making faces, until suddenly the tiger jumped right in front of us and growled menacingly. Boom, boom. My heart jumped, my knees shook, my legs got weak. I felt a pain in my stomach. I wanted to hide. I was so scared. My grandma quickly pulled me back and hugged me. It's okay to be scared, said Grandma. I was frightened too. I breathed out. My heart felt normal again. My knees weren't so wobbly anymore. I calmed down. I felt safe. My misfortunes did not end there. As we walked out of the tiger's enclosure, I smelled an awful smell. Where is that coming from? I wondered. Then I looked around and saw that I had stepped in squishy, stinky poo. I exclaimed. My nose wrinkled up, my upper lip curled. I shook my head side to side, my mouth got all watery and I thought that I might throw up. I was so disgusted. Grandma stroked my back. Oh dear, he said. Let's go clean it. This was the last straw. I no longer wanted to see other animals. I wanted to go home. What an awful day. I tried to stop it, but my bottom lip just couldn't help sticking way out there. My whole body felt down. My eyes felt watery. I was going to cry. I was very sad. When we got home, things only got worse. It appears my sister had decided to play with the robot that Granny and Grandpa had bought for me. She dropped it from the table. It cracked and stopped working. I just couldn't bear it anymore. My hands clenched, my shoulders tensed up. I pushed my sister and kicked that stupid table and started to yell. I felt so angry. Oh, my darling, Mum said and hugged me. I understand that you're upset. You have the right to be angry. I think you should take some time to cool down and then we will discuss how to fix your robot. Then Mum took me to my room. Later, Mum called me down for dinner. I really didn't want to eat. My cheeks turned red. I felt very hot. My hands were trembling and I couldn't raise my head to look in Granny's eyes. I was so ashamed of my behaviour. I am very sorry, I said. Grandma hugged me and looked in my eyes and said, you had the right to be angry and you needed to let off some steam, but it is not okay to yell and to kick. You can control your anger instead of letting it control you. I can teach you some ways if you want to. First, you can take 10 very deep breaths slowly in through your nose and out through your mouth whilst counting. Instead of throwing or kicking things because of anger, just squeeze this anger in your hands. Hold it there very tightly, then let it go. Instead of yelling or saying bad words, just say, I am very angry. Instead of hitting someone, just walk away. Don't let your anger be the boss. Do you promise to try this next time? Yes, I nodded. I know you will, said Grandma and kissed me. You are such a smart boy. I love you. The next morning, I slept late. Mum did not wake me up, probably because she wanted me to recover from all the stress I'd had the day before. On the way to the living room, I heard a familiar voice. I rushed into the room. Yes, I was right. My granddad was sitting on the floor and the robot was walking in front of him. I couldn't believe my eyes. My eyebrows were raised. My eyes were open wide. My mouth opened. I was surprised. Granddad laughed. See, I fixed it. It was just a small thing, nothing serious. So here it is, working again, perfectly fine. I rushed to Grandpa and gave him a big hug. And then I did a funny dance around the robot. I was filled with joy. Each day, my body sends me lots of signals. All these signals have a meaning. My tummy is going rumble rumble to tell me I'm hungry. My mouth gets dry to tell me I'm thirsty. And it's time to drink some water. When I yawn, I'm tired or bored. When I get goosebumps, I'm cold. And when I sweat, I'm hot. I get butterflies in my stomach when I'm nervous. I get so many of these feelings and they are all perfectly fine. Amazing! How good was that story? It was quite a long one, but I thought it was really good. So basically the whole point of that story is to tell us that it's really important to know how we feel. It's really important to understand that it's okay to feel lots of different ways, but there's some emotions that we have to control a little bit. So when we get really, really angry, we don't want to hit anyone, we don't want to kick anyone, we don't want to hurt anyone, do we? So we have to learn to control our anger. It's sometimes a bit tricky, isn't it, to work out how we're feeling different ways. Well, I thought we could make some little faces of different emotions. And what you could do is you could play a game maybe you could make loads of them and you could play Snap with them. Or maybe you could just practice thinking, oh, I wonder what this emotion is. He's got his eyes open wide, his eyebrows raised, and his mouth's open. I think this person might be surprised. Maybe this week you want to write down all the different things you feel in one day. So maybe you could draw how you feel, or with your grown-ups help, maybe you could write how you feel, and you could write a diary of all the different emotions you notice yourself feeling. So maybe you might wake up and you might be really hungry. I know sometimes I wake up super duper ready for breakfast, and then you could write about how your emotions go on from that, how you feel full once you've had breakfast. And then maybe you're happy to play with your friends or play with your siblings, and maybe someone annoys you a little bit and you get a bit angry. Well, you can write or draw all about that, and you can realise how many different emotions we feel in one day. Now, the Bible says a lot about emotions, and I think it's really important to Jesus that we understand how we feel, but also that we look after ourselves and we make sure that we're really kind to ourselves when we feel these different ways. 2 Bible verses I've picked out, and the first one is in a book in the Bible called Romans. It says, "Do not be conformed to the ways of the world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind." Now that sounds very complicated, doesn't it? They are some big words. Well, I'm going to simplify it just a little bit. What it basically means is don't worry about what other people think or the way that people all live their lives. Maybe lots of people around you are really angry, or maybe they get really sad about stuff. Well, as Christians, we know that we have God as our best friend, don't we? So what we can do is we can say, oh, actually, I'm not going to choose to be angry today, but I'm going to choose to be kind instead. So we are transformed by the way that we listen to our minds and we say, oh, no, I don't want to be angry today. I'm going to choose to be nice to this person instead. And then the other verse that I've chosen is from Proverbs chapter 4, verse 23. And in this verse, it says, above all else, guard your heart, because everything you do flows through it. And what this means is that literally everything is based on our heart. So all our feelings are because of how our heart feels. And it's really important to look after that. And the Bible says to guard it, to protect it. So what this means is that we have to look after ourselves, and we have to acknowledge when we're feeling a certain way. So maybe when you're feeling a bit sad, it's just good to say, hey, grown up, hey mum, hey dad, whoever looks after you, I'm not feeling very happy today. I feel really sad. And maybe you could do some things that will cheer you up. And that is a really good way to protect yourself, to guard your heart, and to recognise that you're not feeling great, but you know how you can. And a really good way to do that is we have an amazing friend in God, don't we? We can say, Jesus, I'm not feeling very well today. Will you help me? And he will. Or I'm feeling a bit scared today. Will you help me feel safe? And God will help you, and he will guide you in the best way to do that. I am going to read us our psalm. So maybe you want to bow your head or close your eyes, and we're going to pray together. So this is from Psalm 18, and they've called it, You Make Me Great. Even though you are a king and live so high above, you bend down to make me great. Now that's what I call love. When I feel alone or scared, you're there to hold my hand. And even when the water's deep, it's you who helps me stand. You are my God, my strength, my rock, my shield and hiding place. I'll snuggle up in your great arms, and you will keep me safe. Amen. What a good thing to remind ourselves that God is there to keep us safe. So that is everything from us this week, Adventure Kids. I hope you have an amazing week, and I would love to hear all about the different emotions that you have recognised in yourself this week. Have a great week, and I'll see you soon. Bye!